to put his blindfold on, and then she is going to describe the cover of this book to me. And I have to guess what book it is. I gotta guess what book it is, and I gotta guess what author it is. I'm fairly confident that if I get the book, I'll know the series, and so I'm not gonna give myself any point for guessing the series, so I'm making this hardcore on me. I need to get 17 points in this challenge, or else I will have to read a YA novel of their choice. And I am afraid that they have already chosen ACOTAR, which is A Court of Thorns and Roses. Gasp!
Okay.
I don't want to read A Court of Thorns and Roses. Oh! Ring of Winter! Ring of Winter! Ring of Winter! Oh, I'm gonna get this, y'all. With authority, right here. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. Been here for years.
What?
I'm not gonna lie, guys. I thought this was gonna be way easier than it was. And like right now, I'm actually starting to get super anxious. The key. Oh my gosh. Oh, what have I done? Oh no. Oh no. Anyway, I got this big old bright light in my face because I got to get rid of the shadows. I don't know how you're supposed to see when you got one of them ring lights the way this is. Anyway, just so you don't have to have any shadow. But I also can't wear my glasses because see what happens when I wear my glasses? Watch, see a little ring. Woo, look at that. Look like one of those hypnotizing glasses. Look into my eyes. Right? Anyway, that's dumb. So, chapter 19 is really long, and it has, Tamlin has magic healing kisses, y'all. Like, he kisses her and her wounds heal, right? Because that's a thing that happens. And she gets she gets her paint. Like, she finally gets her paint, so she can paint crap, right? She sees the gallery, she's like, oh my gosh, so many paintings. And then she gets her paint, she's like, I painted day and night. And then she gets mad. She's like, no, they just gave me paint so I would stop thinking about this terrible situation they've put me in. And so she gets all mad, and she goes out, and guys, the High Lord that we're supposed to be expect he's this great warrior. He tells this big old story about how he's this amazing warrior, and all the other his brothers were like, they just were cruel and abusive, just like his dad, and he had to become a warrior to defend himself, and yet he's caught by a snare that she left. Like, she left one of those snares, you know, the cartoon ones where it causes, where he's caught by his feet. But he, okay, so that's how easy it is. That's how easy it is to beat Tamlin. Set a snare for him and then kill him. Kill him while he's hanging there. Instead, she's like, oh, I touched his face. Like, either your guy's BA or he's not. Like, either he's awesome or, I mean, either he's super dangerous or he's not. And if he's super dangerous, then no, she can't snare him with one of those cartoon, like, whatever. Oh. And then yet again, withholding knowledge because it's too dangerous for you to know. How? What's going to happen if she knows? And then the phrase, his words caressed my bones. What does that even mean? What does that mean, his words caressed my bones? I don't even know what that is. What else? Oh, they keep talking about, oh, the fairies. There are evil fairies. Watch. And I'm just not afraid. And apparently there's some woman who is invisible and talking to Tamlin and Lucian. And what does it say her name was? Oh, the something. It's another one of the creatures that I'm supposed to be terrified of. The ACOTAR. If the ACOTAR saw her, ... It didn't, Tamlin said. Are you certain It didn't. Tamlin growled over his shoulder and then looked at me, his face still pale with fury, lips tight. I'll see you at dinner. Chapter 20. Oh my gosh, so I have to start tracking how many times she talks about Tamlin's muscled chest now, because of course, guys, of course she's told to stay away from Callan Mai or the Fairy Night. And of course, it's like, she's like freaking Elsa, into the unknown. Like, she has to go out. She has to go out. Of course she does. Of course she gets in trouble. And of course, since she's a woman alone, that trouble is she's about to get sexually assaulted. And then all of a sudden, some other guy saves her, and we don't know who it is. But he turns her around, and the end of the chapter is, I was standing before the most beautiful man I'd ever seen. So I don't know who this guy is. But he saved her from, 3 rapey elves. So, who knows? What is this book I'm reading? Chapter 20 starts out with the most beautiful man she's ever seen. He's the most handsome man. But he's really just like, he's emo anime guy. It's freaking Darien from Sailor Moon. He's in all black, and his hair is all black, and I bet it does this. I bet his hair does one of these. Man, I wish my hair was longer, but I bet his hair does one of these. And he's like, who are you? Or whatever. Like, he's supposed to be super, I don't know, he's super handsome, but also dangerous, and he's like just made out of shadows. But he's not from the Court of Spring. He's like, do I look like I'm from the Court of Spring? I'm not from the Court of Spring. Thank goodness. Look, I don't have a mask. Or whatever. And so, of course, she's caught by Lucian, who takes her back and is like, oh, didn't he tell you to stay in your room? And then, oh my gosh, we learn that Tamlin and all the other High Lords, they power up the earth by doing it. So he does this right, and he gets all like super randy, and his instincts like pull him to whatever fairy he wants to do, and so they do it and energize the land, and then everybody else does it, and they energize. Get out of here with this. Get out of here with this mumbo jumbo. And it's just like, oh, the magic. We have X amount of magic before, but and then, oh my gosh, and then she's like, screw this. I'm not gonna stay in my room. And so she busts out like with a tantrum, and he's standing in the hallway, and you can just hear the lightning like silhouetting him, and he like pins her up against the wall, and she's all like mad that he didn't like force himself on her during the ritual. She's upset because he forced himself on some other woman, and she's like, oh, I wish he would have forced himself on me. Oh my gosh. And he like pins her against the wall and like bites her neck, but doesn't. It's like a dog. It's like my dog when he puts my arm in his mouth, but doesn't bite me. Like, what? Oh my gosh! Like, I'm a grown man. Like this isn't for me. Like, what? I can't even read it. I can't even do it. I think I'm turning red trying to read this. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Oh, he smelled her and he couldn't find her, and so he's like, I'm not even gonna read this book. All of her aches, every bit of her aches from like all of it. She just aches with his growling. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. She asked me not to be gentle with her either. He snarled. Rawr! His teeth bright in the moonlight. He brought his lips to my ear. I would have been gentle with you, though. I shuddered as I closed my eyes, Every inch of my body went taut as his words echoed through me. Is it this is for kids? Like, this is for teenagers? My students better not be reading this. I would have had you moaning my name throughout it all. I can't do it. Oh, sorry. I would have had you moaning my name throughout it all. And I would have taken a very, very long time, Feyre. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh. He said my name like a caress, and his hot breath tickled my ear. My back arched slightly. He's freaking threatening to force himself on her, and she's all like, Like, how do y'all read this? Like, can I please not read this anymore? Oh my gosh. I can't even do a sample reading of this. I can't do it. How? I can't do it. All right, I'm done for the night. I'm definitely done for the night of this book. Made it to page 200. I am done for tonight. All right, so I'm going to try to get through a couple chapters of ACOTAR tonight because I promised I would finish ACOTAR before I finished Tyrant's Throne. Even though Tyrant's Throne is so good, I'm going to read ACOTAR because I am a man of my word. So now she's dealing with the after effects of Tamlin assaulting her in the hallway, and of course he's all embarrassed, and I don't know. Then there's a lot of painting, and Sarah J. Maas uses gold to describe everything, and I don't know why everything's gold. Everything can't be gold. She uses it's just so much. I'm tracking it. Like I said, I'm tracking these stats. Oh yeah, and their flirting is just. It's just I just don't like it. I just don't like it. But here, she puts on this, beautiful ball gown, right? And she looks at herself in the mirror, and she's like, I wouldn't call myself a beauty. I'm definitely pretty, but I wouldn't say I'm it's just stop. If you're pretty, it's fine. Admit you're pretty, but don't be well, I've never really considered myself pretty. Oh my gosh. Hush, Feyre. Hush. You're the freaking belle of the ball. Tamlin, the High Lord of the High Fae, of the Spring Court, Summer Court, whatever court he's in. Summer Court? What court's he in? Summer. Let's just say summer. Is it summer? Is it spring? I think it's spring. Yeah, Spring Court, sorry. Oh my gosh, y'all get over yourselves. And then he's getting jealous when he sees the painting about her dude that she had at the farm, and she's really jealous when he talks about I've had all of these women, and she's imagining I imagine their closeness with him and their good looks, and it's I get that Feyre is a teenager, I understand that, but Tamlin isn't. Tamlin isn't. He's the High Lord of the Spring Court. Hundreds of years old. He's not a teenager. Anyway, I'm going to vlog this next section since it's small. So, it's a little short chapter. So, let's see. Chapter 23. 23. Is that right? Christina's here too.
Yes.
She's reading. Thumbs up. 23. Oh, there's one. Golden hair. So, we got one. Chapter 23. There's a mention of gold to describe something. So that's one. There were 4 in the last chapter. Is golden hair. The mask can be gold. That's its substance. It's made of gold. The emerald carpet. That's one. It's green, lady. He plucked a strand of grass from my hair. Heat radiated from my face as his fingers grazed my cheek. I could make you be able to see it, he said. His fingers lingered at the end of my braid, twirling the curl of hair around. See my world, hear it, smell it. My breathing became shallow as he sat up. Taste it. His eyes flicked to the fading bruise on my neck. Oh my gosh. How? I asked, heat blooming as he crouched before me. Every gift comes with a price. I frowned and he grinned. A kiss. Oh, absolutely not. Oh my gosh, get it over with and kiss him. What are you doing?
Being
Oh, you're being Tamlin? You scared me.
I'm gonna.
I thought it was a bug.
Play with your braid.
I think there's a lot of braid tugging wheel time. Why are you kissing her eyes? Oh my gosh. So they can just give the ability to like hear plants. Oh, here's the flowers. We got flowers mentioned. Jasmine, lilac, roses. Everything's in groups of 3 in this book. If you haven't figured it out, everything's in groups of 3. Oh, his skin gleams golden, because of course it does. And around his head glowed a circlet of sunshine. And his eyes, not merely green and gold, there's the green eyes. Oh my gosh. But every hue and variation that could be imagined, as though every leaf in the forest had bled into one shade. So brown? It's 5 times she's used the word golden. Who describes people like this when you're thinking about what people look like? She kissed the back of his hand. You're exactly as I dreamed you'd be too. And then darkness swallowed everything? Whatever. Okay. No idea. She kissed the back of his hand and then all of a sudden fell asleep in the grass. I'm going to keep going. Okay, so whatever chapter I just read, chapter 24, kind of cool. So I didn't realize that the fairies were there, because remember in an earlier clip, I was like, where are all the people, right? Well, they've always been there. She just hadn't been able to see them. So that is cool, and I did not see it coming, but I don't see anything coming. And then there's a head on a spike, or like on a heron statue, and they're just like, no, it's just the Night Court King's idea of a prank. They're all sadistic killers. This is my problem with this book. It tells me a lot of things, and I'm supposed to accept them as gospel. They spend for a book that spends so much time sitting around doing nothing, because Feyre sits in that castle all day, every day, and sometimes talks about paint, sometimes talks about Tamlin. We see a lot of them eating dinner. For all the sitting around navel gazing, you'd think they could show us some of the terror, like some of the stuff that's supposed to, like they keep talking about the blight. Who cares? Like we don't know anything about it. It's not showing anything. We've seen 2 creatures that have been invisible and talking, and we're supposed to be afraid of them. Like this doesn't do a very good job of making me like believe the stuff that it's trying to say. It just says them. Like, oh, they're all sadistic killers. The Night Court guy, what does he say? I don't know. They're all sadistic killers. And then they're like, no, it's his idea of a joke. Like, what? Like, this stuff just doesn't really equate. Like, I don't really understand why anybody is doing anything, because no one's talking. It's just a lot of standing around and thinking about things. So I don't know, but it was cool. It was cool to see that the fairies were there all along. That was cool. I didn't expect that. So, and I also don't know why. Like I'm assuming they're gonna tell us why some spring court's the only masks. Chapter 25, 10 mentions of describing something as golden. Feyre gets drunk, does a bunch of dancing. Her and Tamlin make out in the woods. That's literally all that happens. Alright, so we met the emo king again, and his name is Rhysand. And he's so beautiful. But he's the bad guy. He's evil. I have a horrible prediction. I bet the only reason that Mask could be describing how pretty this guy is. Please don't let Feyre be like, oh my gosh, he's not really evil underneath. Oh, please don't let that be what happens. Anyway, he's a huge tool, and okay, I appreciate the difficulty that has to go in with writing. So Rhysand is supposed to be the really like posh, like sarcastic kind of villain, and I like that. I do like that kind of villain. The problem is I appreciate the difficulty with writing this kind of stuff, with writing the banter between like really powerful guys. it's hard to do well, and it's done bad here. It's all so cliche, the dialogue, like back and forth. It's all words we've heard a million times from these exact same situations. I have the same problem with Return of the Crimson Guard. One of the big problems I have is there's two titanic forces, and their banter, they're like, I'm better than you banter. It's just so cringy. Let me bust this out. So, oh my gosh, we're in the middle of lunch, says Tamlin, and so Rhysand purrs. He purrs twice in here. He said, stimulating. That's gonna be my Rhysand voice. Stimulating, and then later, oh my gosh. Anytime anybody says "pray tell," you know it's gonna get like. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. It's just so like, and then like he probes her mind, and like and that's cool. But then he asks what her name is. Like, you know all of like her like sex fantasies about Tamlin, but you don't know her name. Weren't you just in her brain? I can't even read that section. It's just so. Ugh. Oh my gosh. That won't do you any good anyway. If you were wise, you would be screaming and running from this place, from these people. It's a wonder you're still here, actually. My confusion must have been written across my face, for Rhysand laughs loudly. They always laugh. Oh, she doesn't know, does she? How many times have we seen this? Like, they're going to talk over her head and they're going to talk in vague circles instead of just saying what they mean. Ugh. I'd forgotten that human minds are as easy to shatter as eggshells. Look how delightful she is. Look how she's trying not to cry out in terror. It will be quick, I promise. Oh my goodness. She has the most delicious thoughts about you, Tamlin. Anyway, so he's the bad guy. He sent the gift of the dead heads. Oh, you remember what fun it was when we used to cut the heads off of people? Like, I think Amarantha is the bad guy, and the Blight, whatever, it killed people. Because he's Amarantha's whore, as they keep saying multiple times. But it doesn't say who she is. But it does conveniently slip in the dialogue, like, I'll tell the lady of the Autumn Court that her youngest son is doing well. Like, oh, okay, so thanks for letting us know that Lucian is the youngest son of the Autumn Court. Anyway, he came and ruined everything, but they talk about it pretty multiple times, so I have a horrible suspicion that he's going to turn good, or he's just going to be the bad boy that Feyre's just like, no one understands him the way I do. Which I don't know what's going to happen, because I thought she likes oh, it's going to be a love triangle. No, it's going to be a love triangle. Oh. Okay, guys. So, I just finished chapter 27 of this thing. Like, is this why y'all read this? Like, do y'all read this so you can get that, like, those fairy sex scenes in here? Because that's literally all chapter 27 was. Like, Tamlin is gonna send Feyre back to the human world, and she doesn't want to go. What did I do? And then she's like, oh, well, I understand. You don't want to keep someone with these thorns near you. It's like, what? Like, he even says he doesn't want to, but she's like, oh, it's because I'm prickly like thorn. And then, of course, they have sex because, if she's gonna get sent away, they got to do it first. She's being sent away because, I don't want Amarantha. I don't want her to, she has such power, and Rhysand has such power, and the Blight has such power. Guys, there is so much talking about how powerful Tamlin and Lucian are, how powerful the High Lords are, how powerful these enemies are, how powerful the Blights are, how powerful the Bogey and all, and the Atta and all this stuff are. We never see any of that. We never see them use any of their power, ever. Like, they don't ever do anything. But let me tell you what we do get to see. We do get to see them eat dinner. We get to see every meal they have. and we get to see them standing around in the house like, does he, but, it's very, oh my gosh, it's very like, if you've ever seen Eddie Izzard, he has a bit where he talks about like American movies or TV shows versus like British TV shows. And American TV shows are Room with a View of Hell, Staircase of Satan, Pond of Death. It's very action and boom and explosions. But then British shows are like, someone comes in, it's like, oh, and the other guy's like, what is it, Sebastian? I'm arranging matches. And the other guy's like, oh, well, I think I'd better go. And then the matches guy's like, yes, I think you better had. And that's all it is. Like, it's them standing, it's them going into rooms being like, no, what? Nothing happens. Nothing happens in this book. They don't do anything. They stand around and they wonder, oh, does he like me? Like, as if a freaking High Lord, a High Lord that's lived centuries years old, stands around like a high schooler wondering if, oh, does she like me? And so they got to have sex. And like, guys, I don't like sex in my books. I don't like reading sex scenes in my books. Like, I don't even like there to be romance in my books. Like, I would prefer for people to just like, I mean, I guess the Senlin books, there's one, but it's so muted and like subtle that it's fine. But like, I don't like it when they feature at all. I don't need to see these people courting each other, and I certainly don't need to see these people banging each other. And it's just it's so embarrassing, and it's so awkward the way it's described, the words that are used, and it's, like, can't we fade to black as they go to the bed? Like, I would much prefer that. So I'm certain there'll be a bunch of standing around and like, you know, hand wringing and navel gazing in the next chapters. They're like, did it mean anything? That's my prediction. And remember, I'm anticipating this happening with Rhysand too, because he's so pretty. So I'm anticipating her going to get on with Rhysand at some point, because you know what? Why not sleep with all of them? All right, so chapter 28's done. I mean, there wasn't a lot of hand wringing, but it was just like, he said, okay. So just two problems with this. So she's back home, and her family's got all the money now, and you know, nobody cares. Tamlin says he loves her, and she's like, well, I can't say it back because I don't want to add to his burden. I don't want to make it harder. Like, we see this crap all the time, and people complain all the time when guys do this in fantasy books, because it usually is the guy being like, well, I can't tell her my feelings because then she'll, you know, like, I'll be putting her in danger, you know, not giving the woman agency to feel how she wants to feel. Like, it's usually a male character doing this. But here we see Feyre doing the same thing. Like, shut up. Like, let him worry about, like, taking care of him. Like, let him worry about taking care of his burdens. Like, if he thought it was going to be a big deal, like, he wouldn't have said it. Like, Feyre, shut up. It's not your call. Like, you're not the boss of him, first of all. And second, you know, Lucian's like, oh man, I never want to go to the human world. This is one of my biggest problems with this book, besides all the fairy sex and whatever. There's no difference between the fairy world and the human world. None at all. Like, maybe it's prettier in the fairy world, but there's no marked difference between the fairies and the humans. Like, in personality or in the way they act, like, at all. They just act like people. And this is usually a problem with that people fuss about in fantasy books, when, like, you see elves are just like douchey humans, right? Like, when they act exactly like the humans, like, what's even the point of having them be a different race? So, I don't think of Tamlin and Lucian as fairies. They're just like people that can transform. I mean, so I don't know. I mean, Voxer, I should have muted that. So I don't know. So we'll see. Abby says this gets better when I get to Under the Mountain. I'm gonna like it. I don't know if she's being serious, if it's just gonna be a bunch of people having sex, in which case, curse you, Abby. But we'll see. So chapter 30's 29. Chapter 29 is, I mean, it's actually decent. She's like settling into being rich and all that stuff, and she's talking with her sisters. And I don't think the newfound wealth they have is really sitting comfortably with any of them. And I think it's really bothering them that all of their former and now current social relationships, like, is pretending like they were never gone, pretending like they never fell out of favor, like they never were impoverished. Just the douchebag nobility. That, you know, has no time for people, for the impoverished. And so they're all kind of dealing with that. So I thought that was pretty good. Nesta the mean sister like went to visit her and she got turned around. I don't know. I think she thinks something's up. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, I don't know. There's not much to say here. My prediction is that they're going to get jumped somehow, or they're either gonna get jumped, or she's gonna steal away in the middle of the night and try to find her way back to the wall or whatever. Anyway, it's cool that she can bond with her sister over the fact that, you know, Nesta hates her dad and all that stuff. But the fact that Tamlin's glamour doesn't work on Nesta, that doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. Look, she's like, oh, even Nesta's iron will was too strong for even a High Lord's magic. That's not possible. Like, it's not. If it is, then High Lords are stupid. Like, High Lords suck, and their magic is lame. Like, either you're powerful or you're not. Like, some rando human, like, I get that some people are special. Like, I get that. That's Feyre. Like, if it happened to Feyre, whatever, we'll accept it because she's the protagonist. But to have her just random sister be able to, like, beat back the glamour, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It makes Tamlin and the High Lords, like, have weak sauce magic. Okay, so Feyre has left her family already. That lasted like 3 chapters, and by just talking about Prythian, she dispelled the glamour. By the time, like, all she had to do to dispel the glamour was talk about Prythian. And so her father and sister are like, oh, wait, no, we remember everything. And they sent her on, and Feyre was able to find her way back to the manor, like, all on her own, and wasn't assaulted by anything because, you know, why not? And the manor's all destroyed, so... I mean, I don't know what she thinks she's going to do, so... I mean, it's fine. Nothing to complain about here, really, other than, oh, that was a convenient hand-waving away of the glamour since we didn't need it. Okay, well, chapter 32 was eventful. So I will say, I will give it to Sarah J. Maas that some of the stuff that I thought was stupid is actually now explained. So I mean, I can't get mad at that. So the reason Tamlin is weak and his magic sucks. The reason no one was ticked off that their friend was murdered, that kind of thing, because the whole curse is revealed now. It's a lot of it, like the whole chapter is info dump. Like, if you don't like info dumps, like, you're such a liar if you like this book. It's nothing but info dump. It's just like it's just all bleh, here's the whole curse. Here's the revelation thing. Like, it wasn't even like giving out piecemeal. It was the whole thing, and that's fine. Info dumps don't really bother me. My biggest problem is that the curse is stupidly specific. It's just like, the curse can only be broken if he finds a human girl willing to marry him. Nope. A human with ice in her heart, with hatred for our kind. Nope. A human girl willing to kill a fairy. Nope. The fairy she kills has to be one of his men. Nope. And she can only kill him, like, not in self-defense, but out of hate. In an unprovoked attack. It's like so specific. What a dumb curse. And she's gonna go fight Amarantha. Oh, guys, this is going to be so dumb. There's no way she can beat Amarantha on her own. There's just no way. And I don't even understand how Amarantha is this powerful. Like, I don't even understand it. She's going to go under the mountain and she's going to be able to beat Amarantha. I'm sure, I bet it's going to be with some ash arrow or something. But there's just no way. There's no way. So she can beat 7 High Lords, but she's not going to be able to beat Feyre? Ugh. I don't know, but at least the curse one's interesting. This chapter was at least semi-interesting, but they're all mad at her, like, you idiot! You could have just told him you loved him, and that's true. Like, you're so stupid, Feyre. Like, that's what you get for taking away Tamlin's agency. So maybe you should have thought about that. So we'll see if she's able to go free him on her own or whatever. Everything just feels, I don't know. It feels like I'm being told how to feel in various ways, and I don't care. Like, I don't care. I don't care about Tamlin. I don't care about Lucian. I don't care about Prythian, period. I don't care. Still don't care. All right, chapter 32 is real quick. Alice leads Feyre to the edge of the cave that's under mountain, I guess, and she's and like, this is the kind of contrived stuff that I don't like. Like, this is in the first Dresden in Stormfront. There's like stuff that it just wouldn't happen if, like, it's just contrived. They're like, well, we told you this. I spent this whole chapter telling you about the curse. Oh, but there's still one part that I can't tell you about. Like, what? Like, what kind of curse is this? There's like 18 different clauses and exception clauses. Like, it's like, what is this? The freaking American Constitution of curses, where you just keep amending it to change it? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, oh, I can't tell you about this part because then this next part of the book couldn't happen. So, I mean, it's dumb. And she just, okay, so we've heard about how dangerous the ACOTAR is, and it's so much more dangerous than the bogey. And she just came face to face with the ACOTAR, right? The thing grabbed her arm. It's a big bat-looking thing. 100% she gets away from it. Guaranteed. I'm about to read the next chapter where she's facing it. 100% she gets away from it, despite it being one of the most dangerous creatures on the face of the planet, where it should just big crotch her easily. Like, it should just kill her right now, but guaranteed she gets away. I'll be right back. I mean, I guess, like, the ACOTAR, okay, so she didn't escape, but it didn't kill her either. It just dragged her. So this fearsome monster is just like a messenger. It dragged her to Amarantha, and Amarantha did the thing, the frickin' gentleman villain. The gentleman villain, where they're all like, oh, my dear, you don't even begin to understand. That thing. And I'm sorry, the patrician from the Discworld books is the best at that. It's really the best of that archetype of villain that I know. This is the standard, like it's just so archetypey. She says every single thing you expect her to say. Every single thing from, oh, I do love it when you're angry. I love playing. It's like the laughing, oh, I've got control, like that kind of thing. I literally just finished reading part of Dragon Republic, and the freaking Empress Sudaji does the same thing. Like, you can literally predict they're gonna say what they're gonna say before they say it, because the like hyper intelligent, like, ooh, posh villain is just so common that it's always written the same way, and I just don't like it. I don't like it. She's got to perform 3 tasks. It's like freaking Ursula up in here. Flotsam Jetsam, now I've got her, boys! Like, that's what this is. Like, we know the 3 tasks are going to be bullcrap. We know the riddle is going to be bullcrap, because otherwise, why would she give it? Like, there's no reason for her to give Feyre a chance of victory. So we know it's crap. Ugh. Who knows, man? Who knows what the riddle is? I can't wait for the riddle. I bet it's some bullcrap. Like, I bet it's impossible. Alright, so we've got more of the, oh, you look positively dreadful. Some more of that. We saw Lucian. She's got the riddle when she's like, is it a thing? It's not a person. It's not gonna be a person. It's not gonna be a person. It's not gonna be an animal. There are those who seek me a lifetime, but we never meet, and those I kiss, but who trample me beneath ungrateful feet. At times I seem to favor the clever and the fair, but I bless those all of the... Is it love? Is it true love? Is that what it is? But scorn... Oh my gosh. It's love, isn't it? Oh my gosh. No, come on, Feyre. Come on, Sarah J. Maas. Come on! Oh my gosh, to quote Biden, come on, man! Like, that's what it is, isn't it? Oh, I just got dizzy. That's what it is, isn't it? No! And, man, that was a long chapter. She fights the Middengars, big old worm. Like, it just looks like a purple worm. Looks like every other worm in things. And an arena. It's an arena. I mean, it's cool. There's nothing really wrong with it. It's just like this whole, I'm going to toss you in an arena and pitch you against a creature that you're outmatched for is, I mean, you know, that's pretty common. So it's all right. I'm exhausted, though. Like, look at this. Like, look at how tired I am. Look at that. Look at that. So... I will probably stop here at chapter 37 for tonight and hopefully finish soon. Oh my gosh. Chapter 37, so Feyre's in jail and her arm's broken, and Rhysand appears. And they're just so like, Like, I don't know what voice did I do from last time? I think I did a voice that's way too old for him. So let me find a different voice, emo. And his hair's like this, so let's make sure we get his hair down like this. This is his hair. How dark my hair is. It's freaking Tobey Maguire from Spider-Man 3. I come here to offer you help, and you have the nerve to tell me to leave? You made me a lot of money, I figured I'd repay the favor. Like, what do they use money for? Like, what? Oh my gosh. And it's always like, So, he wants her to spend 2 weeks with her, and they agree on a week. For what? Like, who cares? Who cares about Feyre? Why is she this why is she Bella Swan, to where every fairy that comes in contact with her wants her, except for the grumpy Lucian? Like, who cares, Rhysand? Why do you even need her there? And he freaking is mean to her and put that tattoo on her arm and then hurt her and then yanked her broken arm. And yet, if my theory is correct, as I think talking to you has made it, I think she ends up liking this dude. How? How? Is this Stockholm Syndrome? Falling in love with your abuser? Oh my gosh. Come to the night court. 1 week out of every month you'll spend with me. Or year, or whatever. But I can't tell you that. Where would be the fun? Oh my gosh. Someone tell her how to write interesting villains with interesting dialogue. Abby, how is this 5 stars? You're gonna rag on Greatcoats. You're gonna rag on Traitor's Blade because it's got 2 scenes that are unnecessary and graphic, while almost every scene in this book is unnecessary. Ugh. I can't even believe it. 38, more Rhysand. She's it's Into the Woods. It's Cinderella. They have her pick lentils out of ashes. Haven't you seen Into the Woods? Just ask for the birds sweeping through the ashes or whatever, so she can go to the festival. And then how does she not know whose bedroom it is? Because there's black sheets, and we know Rhysand's the only character in this book that wears black. So we know it's his bedroom before we even see him. And then he comes in, and he's just being like, is that... is that any way to ask? We can't help you with the riddle. It's, I like to keep my baser instincts in check. Look at my wings. This guy. And she's talking about his sensual lips. And he freaking tells the guards, if they keep messing with her, that they have to kill themselves. But it's no more household chores. No more tasks. He said, his voice an erotic caress. What? I'm sorry, but if someone's going to tell me anything, it better not sound like an erotic caress. Oh my gosh, this guy, I just know, I know she's gonna end up going with this guy, and why? What are her other 2 stupid tasks she's gotta do? I know we're supposed to be like, oh my gosh, Rhysand is so cool, and he's so dreamy. No, he's not. Guys, he's not. He has a wallet chain to protect his bus pass. So chapter 39 is literally all dancing. That's all it is. It's dancing. Every night, Rhysand puts Feyre in some skimpy see-through freaking dragonfly wing dress and puts paint on her so he can see if anybody touches her. And he makes her drink the wine and then they dance. And he's just toying with her and Tamlin. And I guess I'm supposed to be like, oh man, what are you doing to Tamlin? I don't care. What is the end game of any of these people? What are they doing? What is the point? I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what happens to Tamlin. I don't care what game Rhysand is playing. I don't care what game Amaranth is playing. What is anyone doing? What is anyone's motivation here besides their screwing around with a human female? Like, just kill her and be done with it. Like, I hope the mountain falls down on everyone involved in this. And I knew, like, the first time Feyre is painted and put in that dress, and you hear Rhysand's voice from the doorway, I knew he was leaning against the door frame, like, oh, don't you look lovely, or whatever. I knew he was leaning against the door frame because that's what that character does in every book. They always lean against the door frame because that's the kind of characters they are. What? And then I don't know, he's using his mind thing on the other court thing. Like, I just don't understand. What is Amaranth's power? What is anyone's power? What's the point? Like, why is bothering Tamlin, like, attacking his psyche with, like, messing with his human level? Like, what is that accomplishing? Like, what's the point? Don't these people have better things to do? It's a long chapter. Talk about dancing a lot. Spurgeon, what are you doing? Get down. Come on, get down. You can't get it. Whoop, there he is. Hey, bud. So, Feyre does her second task, which is Sarah J. Maas has apparently played D&D before, or seen someone play D&D, because there's a spike ceiling dropping down. Standard D&D trap. And there's a riddle on the wall. Standard D&D trap, as you got to pull one of the levers. 33% chance. Like, it's just, what a weird trial. Anyway, so Rhysand saves her because she can't read, and like the little eyeball in her hand, like, oh, which one is it? And Lucian's in the other one. Like, what does he have to do with anything? But then he comes to see her after she's sobbing. Oh, I almost died. And so Rhysand, why is he in this book so much? He comes to her at the end, and oh my gosh, the walls weren't moving and the room was open, gaping. No colors but shades of darkness, of night. Only those star-flecked violet eyes were bright, full of color and light. He gave me a lazy smile before he leaned forward. I pulled away, but his hands were like shackles. I could do nothing as his mouth met with my cheek and he licked away a tear. His tongue was hot against my skin, so startling that I couldn't move as he licked away another path of salt water and then another. Gross! My body went taut and loose all at once as I burned, even as chills shuddered along my limbs. It was only when his tongue danced along the damp edges of my lashes that I jerked. What? Oh. I'm so happy I'm almost done with this book right here. 369. This book is only 420 pages. I am so close to being done. I am so close. Oh, I'm so close to being done with this book. So, chapter 41. She's waiting for her third trial. And she's being taken like by Rhysand's guards somewhere. And she hears the ACOTAR talking to something else. And so they do the thing where they hide in the shadows. And the ACOTAR and whoever's with them happen to be talking about exactly like the most important bit of information right at the exact time that they're walking past the hidden Feyre and the guards. Like, we've already seen this stupid thing where she happens to come across people talking in another room and they just happen to hear it. But that's not even the worst part. The worst part is the end of it where she's all depressed because she thinks she's going to die. And then all of a sudden this music happens and it's just like, it's like she bangs the music and it's just, that's, what? Like, what do you even do here? What is it? I can't even, the music folded over itself like batter being poured from a bowl. What? One note on top of another melting together to form a whole, rising, filling me. This is just gross. It was either a sunset or a sunrise. The sun filled the clouds with magenta and purple. And this is not the actual sun. This is music. I let the sounds ravage me. Let them lay me flat and run over my body with their gross. What is going on? When the tears had stopped, but the music still echoed in my every breath, I lay on my pallet of hay. Listen to my... Gross. Gross. Like, quit having sex with the music. This book has to end. And it's got to end soon. Nothing happens in these books. I don't understand what is happening. And I don't understand why I have to... Look at my pupils. Look at that. Yes, maybe I am the next High Lord. I'm so close to being done. Chapter 42. Feyre and Tamlin are about to get it on in the hallway. She escapes out, and then frickin' Rhysand comes, and then he makes out with her before Amaranth. Guys, these are the most powerful people, the most powerful beings in the world, right? These High Lords and the Fairy Queen or whatever. I don't understand why the most important thing for them to do is to deal with Amaranth is concerned about Tamlin she wants to sleep with Tamlin, or she wants to sleep with Rhysand, and Tamlin wants to sleep with Feyre, and Rhysand also apparently wants to sleep with Feyre, and it's just is this the most important thing these people have to do? Is there nothing more pressing than this? Is this what occupies these people's lives when they have all this power? And this stupid thing with the paint, if I'd have gone out, if Rhysand had made out with me, I'd have gone out in the hall, and they'd have seen that I had the paint smudged, and Tamlin's, he would have had paint on him, except that we saw that Tamlin can make paint go away, make it go away. They have these powers. They can make the paint go away and make it reappear. The paint thing it's dumb. What? What? And so Rhysand's I want to be free. I want to be free, and I just hate that she, has my territory, and I have to, look, she wants to sleep with me because of my perfect face, and I'm lonely, and I just want to talk to you, and this whole, deep, sad soul that you're seeing, that's gonna make you fall in love with me. Oh my gosh. So my hopes for the next chapter is that Feyre will win this third trial. What is even going on? What is even going on? What is the point of any of this? Feyre's gonna win the challenge. Tamlin's gonna kill Amarantha. That's my hope. Rhysand will go away and go frickin' open with his band for My Chemical Romance at Stained Fest, or Burning Man, or Wicker Man, or Burning Wicker, or what is that Fleet Rock? What is the thing? The thing that Fire Island, or whatever that thing is. One of those things where people hang around and don't bathe and it's in the tents and stuff. Yeah, just go play for them with their spiked bracelets and stuff. Hot Topic fans, just go, Rhysand, just go back to Hot Topic. I'm so close. Also, can we please stop talking about Rhysand's sensuous lips every time? Oh, his sensuous lips. What's it mean? Is that blue steel? Tigre. Of course, one of the people she has to kill in the third trial is going to be Tamlin. And so this part of the curse that we don't know is that Tamlin's heart is stone. At least this is what she's figured out as she played through all the conversations. So we've learned that when she's eavesdropping, as I just mentioned in the last clip, as she's eavesdropping, coming across them talking and, doing the eavesdropping trope thing, turns out they planned that. They planned to talk in open spaces so that she could hear. A couple things wrong with that. One, so the curse doesn't let you talk to anybody, about what's wrong with you but it doesn't have a problem with you casually mentioning things when other people aren't listening. So does the curse know? Like, how does the curse know if you're casually dropping hints versus, like, telling someone? Like, how does the curse know the difference between saying it indirectly to somebody and saying it directly? How does the curse know? And two, so did Tamlin and Lucian just stand in the dining room, like, talking about his heart of stone just repeatedly? Like, maybe she'll come by. Like, they just stand there and be like, yeah, so, the heart of stone, right? Like, you've got that heart of stone. Sure. Man, that stony heart of yours, that's pretty stony, that heart of stoniness, that stony, hard, stony heart that you have in your chest that is made of stone. Like, do they just do that for hours, hoping that someday sometimes she'll come across it and eavesdrop? Like, the plan is ridiculous. Like, the plan involves on stuff that they could never know. Here's what I hope. I hope that it's not actually true, and in this next chapter, she actually, like, killed Tamlin by jabbing him, like, gah, in the heart. That's what I'm hoping. I don't think it's the case. But I wish it was. I don't know when she's going to figure out the answer to the riddle is love. Like, the answer to the riddle is love. She's like, it's impossible. I could never. Yeah, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's love. It's just say it's true love. Wash your hands, done, and move and go home. Go to a different book, Feyre. Like, go to a different book where people have better things to do than fawn over you and wring their hands. Like, boom. What's the answer to the riddle? Love, as I said. Called it as I was filming the clip. Came to me as I was filming the clip. And Amaranth, okay, first of all, I don't like villains who don't, like, adhere to bargains. Like, when someone jumps through hoops to get it done and they're like, well, like, I feel like my time's been wasted. And this is what she's doing. She's like, well, I didn't say I was going to release them immediately. Shut up with your semantics. Like, this isn't a genie from D&D. It's not the wish spell from D&D. Like, stop. Like, you're violating the spirit of the contract, if not the letter. And so then she just starts boom, 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 like bashing Feyre up and down with her magic. Like, just kill her. If you hate her, just kill her. But the only thing that's important is, say you don't love him. Say you don't love him, and I'll let you go. Say you don't love him. It's like midnight and I'm screaming. Say you don't. Like, why is that the most important thing to her? What does she? Why does Amarantha care? Why does she care? Why is that the most important thing? You have all this power. You're the queen of the freaking world. And you just say you don't love him. Anyway, she figured out the riddle. The answer's love. The answer's love. What? So, apparently Feyre's dead. Like, her spine, her neck got twisted and snapped in the last chapter where Amarantha's doing this number. And she's watching everything happen. Like, she's watching Tam kills Amarantha. Thank goodness. And watching it from, like, Rhysand's point of view. And now, like, all of the High Lords are, like, bringing, like, I don't know, like, sparkling tears or something. And so they're all, like, I guess they're resurrecting her is what's happening. They're resurrecting her because of course they are. They're resurrecting her. Oh my gosh, last chapter. I'm gonna read the last chapter right now, guys. Last chapter as a resurrector. I love you, he whispered, and kissed me as he laid his hand on my heart. I'd become a high fae? Ugh. Tam let us have a mask. He was exactly how I dreamed he would be. He smiled at me, his entire face alight with that quiet joy I'd come to love so dearly, and he brushed my hair aside. I savored the feel of his fingers on my skin and raised my own to touch his face, to trace the contours of those high cheekbones and that lovely straight nose, the clear broad brow, the slightly arching eyebrows that framed his green eyes. Again, she's mentioned, what's my total for green eyes? It's the 23rd time she's mentioned his green eyes. What I had done to get to that moment, to be standing here. I shoved the thought against the thought again. In a minute, in an hour, in a day, I would think about that, force myself to face it. I put a hand on Tamlin's heart and a steady beat echoed into my bones. She's obsessed with crap messing with her bones. Like every time someone talks, like, oh, it touches my bones. Everything, oh, I feel it in my bones. I feel his heartbeat in my bones. I hear that guy's voice in my bones. So she's an immortal high fae. They turned her into another race. They turned Feyre in to a different species. I'd killed them, slaughtered them. So we got some Anakin Skywalker up in here. Who cares? You stabbed two high fae. You don't even like them. Who cares? I'd been so accustomed to his mask, the handsome face surprised me each time I beheld it. This was what I had murdered those fairies for his handsomeness. Their deaths had not been in vain, and yet the blood on me had been gone when I'd awoken, as if becoming an immortal, as if surviving, somehow earned me the right to wash their blood off me. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Like, you don't all of us, oh, well, it's okay that I murdered those people. Like, no. Like, okay, the ends may have justified the means, but it doesn't forgive you for having stabbed them in the heart. Oh, Lord. Just gotta go visit Rhys a week out of every month. This is going to end with them doing it. That's going to be the end of this book, them doing it. These people, all they want to do is they just want to get it on all the time. These people need stuff that they need hobbies. Ugh. Ugh. Oh my gosh. I'm not even going to read this part. It's just doing it. That's all it is. How is she a high fae? Okay, so he freaked out. This is something he saw in her face, and so now he's gone. Like, he actually stumbled. Ugh. Done. Court of Mist and Fury. Do I want to read the preview? No, I don't want to read the preview chapter. I don't. And the thing is, if my prediction comes true and she ends up with Rhysand, what was the point of this book? What was the point? What was the point of the whole Tamlin thing? How's that going to end up? So, I'm done. She is a high fae. She is literally converted species somehow. Rhysand is freaked out by something he's seen and gone back to the Night Court, and everything is fine. Amaranth is gone. I'm assuming the plot of the next one will involve frickin' the King of Highburn or Amaranth's boss or whatever it is. Who cares? There will be a lot of hand-wringing. They will talk about how dangerous everything is, and then nothing will end up being dangerous at all. Guys, why did you make me read this book? The grand total at the end of the things that I have been tracking, we have a grand total of 60 uses of golden or other gemstones to describe things that aren't, I didn't count anything that was actually made of gold or was actually made of a gemstone. I'm talking about using the word golden to describe something that is not made of gold, or using the word emerald to describe something that is green, that is not actually an emerald. 60 times. 60 times. There were 11 purrs. 11 times someone purred. She referred to Tamlin's green eyes 23 times. 23 times. She referred to Lucien's russet eye, his single russet eye, 14 times. People clicked their tongues 15 times. She said the word baldric 13 times, and that is 12 times more than anyone should ever say the word baldric. She mentioned specific types of flowers 35 times. There were 35 types of flowers in this book. What's the paint stuff? Why is there so much paint in this book? And flowers? And why does everything smell? Like, everything smells like, it smells like the lawn. 12 times she mentioned Tamlin's muscled chest or some other form of muscle on him. 8 times were Rhysand's sensuous lips mentioned. And I think that is all the things that I tracked. So, I hope you enjoyed this vlog. Or I hope you enjoyed a man's descent into madness in a book that he doesn't really understand. This book is not for me. I can see how this book is easy to read. because it probably is for people for whom this is their stuff. Probably you could read this really, really quickly. And if this was my thing, I probably could read it really, really quickly too. It, however, is so far outside of anything that I would like. It's just, I just don't care. Still don't care. Don't care. I did not care about anything or anybody in this story. I wanted all of them to be killed, so that they could just stop. They could just stop. I would rather have watched Nesta do the taxes of Feyre's family now that she is rich again. I would rather watch her go to debutante balls than this. I don't know what the point was of this book. So it's not terribly, it's not terrible. It's not terribly written, but I didn't like it. It's not for me. Man, this has taken forever. It's just been such a slog. So feel free to tell me your comments. Please feel free to tell me why I'm wrong about this book. Feel free to tell me on why I should read one of the other ones. I promise you that I will take every precaution to not lose any more challenges because, oh my goodness. Like, I don't know why they're so concerned with doing it and like being with Feyre. I don't understand why these people, these ancient race of high fae, don't have something better to do. I don't understand how they turned her into a high fae. This is my ACOTAR vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. Tell me what you think in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe, or, dislike if you hated it. I don't know. I don't even know what to do. Like, it's midnight. It's midnight. It's midnight. You know what I did instead of reading a book I wanted to read? I read this. This is what I read. ACOTAR. This has been my evening, reading ACOTAR. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. I'll see you next time.